Hello, Dave here with RadiationHealthRisks.com. I appreciate you stopping by. Before we get into the video, I just want to remind you that if this video helps you at all, if you get any benefit out of it at all, please remember to go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, and hit the little bell on the icon so that way you get notified when we do future videos. We really appreciate it anytime you guys do that. That really helps us get the word out. So that's my little plug. So what the purpose of this video is, a lot of you may have seen recently I did a review video on a low EMF Wi-Fi router called the JRS Eco 100. It's this one right here. It's actually the router is actually made by a company called ASUS. I don't know how to say it, ASUS or something. But what makes it a low EMF router is you install, or they install, JRS Eco Wireless Company installs a firmware on here which makes it low EMF. And if you buy this, you can if you have a cheaper way of getting the ASUS router, you can buy your own ASUS router, and you can just order the firmware and download it from JRS Eco Wireless, or you can order it and they'll install it on the router for you and send the whole thing to you. That's how I got it. Now, just full disclosure, just like I always do, most of the time when I do reviews on stuff, I've bought the item myself, but sometimes people will send me products and say, hey, would you do a review on this? And if they ever do that, I'm always, yeah, sure, that'd be great. But I always tell them, just know I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And they're like, oh, and that's what this guy did. And he's like, that's what we want. We want your honest opinion. So you're getting my honest opinion on this, regardless of the fact that they send it to me. So anyway, in the last video that I did, basically what I did is I had both Wi-Fi routers here. I tested my normal Netgear Wi-Fi router by itself outside the Wi-Fi router guard, and then I put it in the Wi-Fi router guard, this metallic cage here, and I tested it that way so you could see the difference. And then so you saw before and after on that, and then I did the JRS Eco 100 so you could see how that worked. Right after I did that video, like I always do when people send me stuff, if I do a video on it, I'll send the manufacturer a link just so they know that I did the video. And I sent that. A day or two later, I was sitting there and I'm getting this call from Europe, and I'm thinking, who's calling me from Europe? So I answered my phone, and it was these guys, and they said, well, thanks for the video, Dave. Good job. And I said, you're welcome. And they said, but the one thing you forgot was the main reason why this is a low EM Wi-Fi router. You forgot the main feature that it has. And so it has a feature where it will shut off and not emit any Wi-Fi radiation whenever you don't have any devices logged into its Wi-Fi. So like when you guys use Wi-Fi throughout the day, when it's nighttime, you guys should always be, whether it's on your cell phone or on your laptop or anything that uses Wi-Fi, you should be turning that off at night, or just whenever you're not using the internet. Don't just leave it on because it's emitting the RF radiation on you all the time. Well, whenever you turn all the devices off so nothing is connected to this router, it emits nothing. Literally, I'll show you. We'll test it with a meter here, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It just sits in standby and doesn't emit any RF radiation until you turn on your device and it starts, your laptop or your cell phone or something starts scanning for a Wi-Fi connection, and it'll pick up the connection and you'll log into it, and then all of a sudden this thing starts emitting the RF radiation, but at a much lower level than a normal router, as you'll see. So now, I mean, I was impressed with it before, because in the last video, when I didn't know that feature, this was emitting all the time and this was emitting all the time, and I'll explain to you how you get this into eco mode so it does that. But anyway, both were emitting the RF radiation, but this one sounded like a machine gun, because this makes noise. This meter makes noise, this high frequency analyzer, when it picks up radiation. And when I'm measuring the Netgear, it sounded like a machine gun. Because a normal Wi-Fi router, they're both 5 gigahertz by the way, but a normal Wi-Fi router emits multiple times full blast per second all of the frequency. Like a 5 gigahertz will emit the 5 gigahertz and the 2.4 gigahertz all the time. Whereas a 2.4 gigahertz will just emit the 2.4 gigahertz. 5G, just FYI, is at 60 gigahertz, which I'll do another video. You don't want one of those. It's the higher the frequency when you're talking about the radio frequency portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. At least according to the studies, the higher the frequency, the worse it is for you. But 5G will emit 60 gigahertz plus the 5 gigahertz plus the 2.4. So you're getting, you know, all of the old radiation you would have plus the 60 gigahertz. So anyway, so when I test the Netgear, it's like I said, da-da-da-da-da, like that. And then when I tested this, when it's emitting, instead of being da-da-da-da, it's just da-da-da, because it's not emitting the RF blasts as often. So it'll be just da-da, and then you'll hear a little bit of static, and then duh. So it's a lot less. It was a dramatic difference. So anyway, but now that I know, I was impressed with it before because it was lower, but now that I know this other feature, I'm much more excited about it than I was. So anyway, let's do a test. This is not hooked up at all. The JRS Eco is not plugged in, as you can see. But I do have my Netgear plugged in, so I'll show you what I mean by the machine gun sound. Can you hear that? You can see it's maxing out the meter. It turned to a 1. That means it's doing more than 2,000 microwatts per meter squared, and it's just pegging the meter like a machine gun. So now, really quick, before we plug in this and test this, let me show you what a difference it is when I put the Netgear router into the Wi-Fi router guard. It's like night and day. You notice it's much quieter, this meter is. Still picking up radiation, but you'll notice instead of being above 2,000 microwatts per meter squared, it's in the 100 to 200 range, and I'm about 4 feet away. You get more than about 5 or 6 feet away, and then it's at 3 microwatts per meter squared, which that's what this house reads. Most houses read right around 2 or 3 or 4 microwatts per meter squared when you don't have any electronic devices emitting anything. That's just kind of the base reading that you get. And so you can see it, we're up to 249, 200, 160. So it cuts out about 90 to 95% of the radiation. And if you stick to the end of the video, I'm going to show you. We'll switch the screen to my laptop, and you'll see my laptop. And I'll log into the Wi-Fi. the Netgear Wi-Fi router when it's not in a router guard, and we'll test my super slow internet that I have at this house. It's annoying, but that's another story. But anyway, I'll test that, the speed on my laptop, and then we'll stick the Netgear router into the Wi-Fi router guard, and we'll test do a speed test on my laptop so you can see if there's any difference there within or without the Wi-Fi router guard. And then we'll also test the speed on this Eco or JRS Eco 100 so you can see the difference there. So watch all the way through, because that'll be really interesting. So now we've tested this within and without this Netgear router, within and without the within and without the router guard. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this one in, and I'm going to pause the video. So now I've got both of them plugged in, and neither one of them's in the Wi-Fi router guard. When I'm going to pause the video and let the JRS Eco 100, you know how a Wi-Fi router takes a little bit to get going. I'm going to let it get going. But you'll notice that when I turn this on and measure the two of them together, it sounds identical to what the Netgear router sounded like by itself. And then I'll unplug the Netgear router so you can just hear the JRS Eco 100, and you'll be amazed at how much less radiation sound is coming out. So I'm gonna pause the video for a minute and let that fire up. Okay, the JRS Eco 100 is fired up and working. I keep looking at myself in the camera. I can see myself, and sorry to be vain, but I need one of those coronavirus haircuts. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to turn, because when I'm filming this, we're in the coronavirus epidemic problem. I hope they turn on the economy pretty soon, but that's another discussion. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on, and you can see it's pegging the meter just like it was, and it sounds, I mean, to the ear, I can't tell any difference in the sound, because both Wi-Fi routers are on, but it sounds just like it did when the Netgear router was on by itself. So now I'm going to set this down here for a second. I'm going to unplug the Netgear router and listen to the difference in the sound. You hear dut, 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 like that. So it's a just by itself, when they're functioning, this is emitting a lot less radiation. You can tell just by the sound. But what's amazing is, as you'll see later in the video, when I do a speed test, I'm getting the same upload speed and the same download speed with both routers. So that's pretty cool. So now let's show you the mode here. This is the reason that this is emitting RF radiation, and it still pegs the meter out once in a while. So see, it just pegged the meter out there, but it's not sounding like a machine gun because it's not emitting that radiation multiple times a second. So I'm logged into the wireless of that router, the JRS Eco 100, and that's why it's emitting radiation. Now watch what happens. So you can see here, I'm gonna turn off the Wi-Fi on this tablet. Okay, I just want to interject one thing here that I want to make sure I get into the video, and that is when you get the JRS Eco 100 Wi-Fi router and you first set it up and you start logging devices into it, the way it comes from the factory, basically you'll have to be logged into it for a whole day before that Echo mode turns on, which basically that's the Echo mode is where when you disconnect when it's in Echo mode and you disconnect your Wi-Fi devices from the Wi-Fi router, it stops emitting any RF radiation at all until you log back in to the Wi-Fi router. That's called Echo mode. So when you first log in, it'll just emit, that at that slow rate for the first 24 hours once you've logged into the devices, and then after that, it will automatically go into Echo mode. If you look at the instructions in the manual and you log into the Wi-Fi router, and you go into the wireless section under the advanced settings, and then you hit on the JRS tab, then you can go down there and you can change it manually to the Echo mode. And then there's a setting in there for the timeout where you can change that down to 30 seconds from 2 minutes. if you do that, that's what I did before I did this video, and that way I didn't have to wait 2 minutes. But anyway, that way, if you turn it on to echo mode, that's the main setting that you want, then you don't have to wait that full 24 hours when you initially set it up. It will just stop emitting RF radiation whenever you shut off all the devices that are connected to it. I'm gonna turn off the Wi-Fi on this tablet and wait about 30 seconds, and you'll notice that it'll stop emitting anything as soon as 30 seconds goes by, because that's what I set the time for in the internet. Okay, 30 seconds must have gone by. You can hear there's no more noise, and it's reading 3 microwatts per meter squared, 2, 3, 2, 3, because it's not emitting anything. If I had every electronic device completely turned off in this entire house, that's what it would read, is 2 or 3. So that means this JRS Eco 100 is not emitting anything. So I'm pretty excited about it. So now let's go upstairs to the, get on my laptop, and I'll show you, we'll do a speed test for each of the 3 scenarios, the Netgear outside the router guard, inside the router guard, and then the JRS Eco 100, and we'll see if there's any difference in the speeds. Okay, welcome. Here we are on my laptop, and what I'm going to do really quick is I've got my 5 gigahertz Netgear router plugged in. It is not in a Wi-Fi router guard, so it's just its normal speed that we'll see here. We're going to do a speed test, and I just want to show you the fluctuation of my internet. Where I live, there's train tracks not very far away on one side of the house and just in an older part of town. So I don't have any cable or fiber optics or anything that I have access to where my house is at. So I have to get it sent wirelessly through a dish on my roof. And I only have 10 megabytes per second download speed. That was the fastest this company could give me. I'm used to 100 megabytes per second download speed, so I've had to adjust to slower internet. But anyway, and since it's wireless and since it's the kind of service that it is, it fluctuates a lot. So I just want to show you how much it fluctuates without making any changes at all. Just my Wi-Fi router guard, my Netgear Wi-Fi router, not in a Wi-Fi router guard. Let's run the test a couple of times here so you can see. Okay, so there we go. We can see we got 4.11. You never get the full speed with it's supposed to be 10 megabytes per second download speed, and there we measured at 411. And the upload speed is 0.88. Let's test it one more time. Looks like we're going to get a little higher, maybe a little higher upload speed this time. Not much. So 4.57 is what it read, and now the upload, that was download speed, now the upload speed is 1.18. Let's run it one more time. So you can see that there's quite a bit of fluctuation.
Now our download speed is reading lower. It's on an incline though. Looks like it's going to read higher at the end. So 5.93, so it's quite a bit up. And the upload speed, that was the download speed. The upload speed looks like it's going to be less than 1, probably. So yeah, 0.86. So that shows you that. Now I'm going to just pause the video for a moment, and I'm going to stick my Netgear router into the Wi-Fi router guard, and we'll test it one more time, and then we'll test the JRS so you can kind of see. Okay, just to show you again, we're still logged into the Netgear, my Netgear 5 GHz router. I just think it's funny. If you look at my neighbor here, he named his router "Get Your Own Darn Internet." I don't know why that cracked me up. Anyway, so we're still logged into the Netgear router. Let's run our test. It's every bit as good as it was. See, any fluctuation that I'm getting is just the fluctuation of the internet. It didn't slow it down at all. So the upload speed was 5.57. Again, I'm going to call all of that the same because you saw how much it fluctuated without changing anything. Okay, and 0.86 is the upload speed. So now I'm going to pause the video, and we'll hook up the JRS and see how that does. Okay, now you can see, if I click over here, that we're now logged into the JRS Eco 100 5 GHz router. So let's run the test on that and see how that does. Again, just about identical. So 5.11, again, that fluctuation might be a little less than, but there were a little less than the highest when I did on the Netgear, but higher than the lowest. I did like 3 times on the Netgear, and it fluctuated more than that. So essentially what my determination is either the Wi-Fi router guard or the Eco 100 router go slow down the internet at all.
Okay, well, you saw there on my laptop, there's basically no difference. In other words, if you have a Netgear router and you put it inside a Wi-Fi router guard, at least while you're in the same room as the Wi-Fi router guard, there's basically no difference in the speed, at least according to my test. And between the Wi-Fi router guard, the Netgear Wi-Fi router and this low EMF JRS Eco 100, there's basically no difference in upload or download speed. So I hope that helps, and I appreciate you watching this video. Thanks. We'll call that a wrap. Talk to you in the next video.